Honeydew, California. December 10, 1977. A mother and her children would go shopping, but never return. Mary Stuart and her two daughters had plans to go shopping together. They planned to go shopping in Eureka. Mary and her kids would not return home, so they would be reported missing on December 13, 1977. Mary, her kids, and her car were missing, a red 1969 Opel station wagon. But it would turn up on January 1, 1977, a mile and a half away from their home. Mary and her kids have never been seen or heard from since. If you have tips about this case, please contact Crime Tip Line. Apple Valley, California. January 31, 2005. A young man would be leaving his girlfriend's apartment before he was murdered. Tyrone Bradley, 30, would be hanging out with his girlfriend. He would be headed home before he was shot. Police were called to 2280 Serrano Road. At the scene, they would find Tyrone shot to death. At this time, there is no motive or suspects in this case. If you have tips, please contact We Tip, where you are able to stay anonymous. San Diego, California. January 14, 1999. A taxi driver would be found slumped in his front seat. A resident would notice a parked taxi cab that looked abandoned around 3:30 a.m. They would investigate and find that there was a man slumped in the front seat. They would contact police. Police would arrive to 4100 C Street and find a man in a yellow taxi cab, deceased from a gunshot wound. That man was Sherman Jennings, who worked for the yellow taxi cab company. Police would look into Sherman's route. They determined that Sherman had a fare coming around 10:28 p.m. The person called from a payphone and stated their name was Kevin Brown. Sherman would head to the area, near the Euclid trolley station, to take the fare, and it is expected that he arrived around 10:36 p.m. Detectives are looking to create a timeline for what happened in between the hours of when Sherman's body was found. If you have any tips, please contact Crime Stoppers. Brentwood, California. July 16, 1977. A few teens would be hanging together when they would decide to go separate ways, but 3 of them haven't been seen since. Rebecca Rodriguez, 16, and her sister Evangeline were hanging out with Evangeline's boyfriend, Kenneth Beltram. The 3 would decide to have fun and were either headed to Hog Island or back home to Oakley, California. The girls and Kenneth would go to his car, but were never heard from or seen since. The following morning, Kenneth's brother would see him, but not see him with the girls. Weeks later, this case would take a strange turn when friends of the missing would see Kenneth's car being driven by an unknown male. They would attempt to get in contact with the man in the vehicle, but they would lose him. Kenneth, Rebecca, and Evangeline are all missing. If you have any tips, please contact Contra Costa County Sheriff's Department. This concludes another episode of A Minute for Justice. Subscribe to our channel for more true crime news.